Greetings and God bless you. It's Pastor Robert Mills. I'm here with another motivational moment. Beloved, I found out something rather recently. Despite all of the things that we search for as solutions to our situations, the Bible reminds us that God's grace is sufficient. What does that mean? It means that God's grace is good enough. The Apostle Paul was writing a letter in 2 Corinthians chapter 12, and he talks about all of these things that he has managed to do with the power and aid of God. And he said, I can boast about all of these things, but I won't. I would rather just boast about how good God continues to be to me. He said, and even got to the point where I had a thorn that was given unto me, and it was pressed in my flesh. And day by day, Satan would send helpers to buffet it or to bother it or to keep bothering me along with it. He said, and I began to petition God about it. I began to ask God to take it from me. And it says in the the New Living Translation, I even begged of him 3 separate times, God, would you just take this thorn from me? And watch what Paul says. Paul says, the Lord does not respond by removing. Sometimes God responds by just making his presence known. He tells the Apostle Paul, I don't have to remove it for you to be okay. Just know I'm giving you enough grace to handle it. Paul says the Lord reminds him that my grace is sufficient for you. Watch what Paul says. He says, and in this moment, I begin to realize that it's not about my strength that matters. It's about what God provides for us that matters. He said, this is why I can now take pleasure in my weakness and in my insults, in my hardships, in my persecutions, and even my troubles that I suffer for Christ. He says, for when I am weak, then I am made strong. And what Paul is trying to get us to understand is that there will never be enough of us to handle it, but it will always be enough of God to handle it. And beloved, I'm telling you, I found this out, and I've begun to apply it to my life, that it's not about how much we can do. It's about how much God can do. And God shows up even in this moment. If nothing else, if he just provides the grace for us, then it'll be good enough for us. And so I just wanted to remind you in this time, in this season, in this moment, whatever it is that you're dealing with, that you're going through, that you're trying to sort out, let me just remind you that God gives us enough to handle it. So be encouraged. Don't be discouraged. Be encouraged in this season to learn to rely on God, because he is enough to handle what we're going through. It's another Mills Motivational Moment. You all be blessed.